2,000 years ago, Jericho was a bustling center of Judean commerce. Because of its strategic location, it was a primary target for the Roman taxation system, a machine designed to drain local wealth to fuel the empire. Rome utilized a system called tax farming, where the right to collect revenue was auctioned to the highest bidder. Zacchaeus, as a chief tax collector, was essentially a private contractor. He paid Rome a fixed sum up front, then used lethal extortion to squeeze a surplus from his neighbors to generate his own profit. This made him one of the wealthiest men in the city, but it left him a social ghost. In the eyes of his community, he was a parasite, shunned by the very people he impoverished. When Jesus of Nazareth enters Jericho, the city erupts. A massive crowd surges into the streets, forming a physical and social barrier. Zacchaeus is short of stature, and because of his reputation, no one is willing to step aside to grant him a view of the prophet. He abandons his status and runs ahead of the procession. He scales the thick branches of a sycamore tree, perching himself above the crowd like a child, just to witness the man passing below. His hoarded silver could not buy him a place on the front lines. It took a state of total social bankruptcy to force him into a tree, sacrificing his last shred of dignity for the hope of a single encounter. As the procession reaches the tree, Jesus stops. He looks past the religious leaders and the cheering crowds, focusing entirely on the outcast in the branches. He doesn't offer a lecture or a condemnation. He calls Zacchaeus by name and issues a command. "Come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." The crowd reacts with immediate, audible disgust. They cannot reconcile a holy teacher voluntarily entering the home of a man they consider a professional sinner. Jesus answered this hostility with the logic of the shepherd. He described a world where value is found not in the stability of the majority, but in the recovery of what has been discarded. In this parable, a shepherd with 100 sheep discovers one has gone astray. He leaves the 99 secure in the open country to pursue the single lost animal until it is found. To the people of Jericho, Zacchaeus was a disease to be avoided. To Jesus, he was the lost sheep. The shepherd doesn't wait for the sheep to find its way back. He goes to where it is lost, even if it's sitting in a sycamore tree. This grace was a disruption of the social order. It prioritized the restoration of a guilty individual over the comfort of the self-righteous crowd. The isolation of hiding his corruption had acted as a spiritual drought, a state where guilt evaporates the soul's vitality. But the sudden, unmerited acceptance by Jesus broke that cycle, making confession a necessity rather than a threat. Zacchaeus stands before the crowd and strips away his defensive, corrupt exterior. He publicly admits to the very crimes that made him wealthy. He liquidates his estate, vowing to give exactly half of his possessions to the poor. Then, for anyone he defrauded, he promises a fourfold restitution. This systematically depletes his remaining wealth until his accounts are settled. Only after these tangible, costly steps are taken does Jesus declare, "This day is salvation come to this house." The outcast is no longer outside the family. In this narrative, the crowd represents more than a physical hurdle. They are the embodiment of the social barriers and collective hatred that reinforce isolation. The tree was the only place where Zacchaeus could rise above the noise of his own reputation. The story redefines repentance as an objective, measurable process. It is not an internal emotional state, but a public ledger of making things right with the people who were harmed. The result is a total re-entry into the community. Restoration here is not found in a feeling, but in the expensive, visible actions taken to repair the damage of the past. 2000